Hello, it's Carly Jo and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be showcasing a no makeup look featuring my sister. She was in town. She doesn't typically wear a lot of makeup, so I thought it was the perfect opportunity to showcase a no makeup look that I would do on my client. Now keep in mind, I probably wouldn't use this makeup application for those who are getting married because it's not enough makeup to show up on camera. 2D is not the same as 3D and you want the makeup to translate in photos. So if I were doing it on someone who was getting married, I would definitely add more foundation. I would add more bronzer, contour, blush, the whole thing. Obviously not to the point where it's a little bit more of an elevated look, but definitely so it shows up on camera. But go ahead and comment down below what kind of makeup looks you guys would like to see me execute on a model. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the Garnier Micellar water on a cotton pad and just removing any excess dirt and oil on the skin. Even if your clients come in with a clean face moisturizer, it's really nice to just have that clean slate to work on and to apply the skin prep that you need in order for the makeup to last as long as possible. Then taking Sonia Roselli's SEXAPEEL on an exfoliating cotton pad. She has drier skin, so I'm just putting this in the drier areas. So her forehead, sides of the nose, her chin, and then I'm telling you guys, the sides of the ears and your jawline, it's actually a very dry area, so I always recommend exfoliating that as well. Then I'm taking EMBRYOLISSE. We all know and love it. It's in everyone's kits. I can never part ways with it. It's fantastic. And I'm just using it pretty much everywhere on the face because she is drier. I would recommend this for any skin type. I think this is fantastic for any skin type. I'm applying this with a brush. I typically use a brush when I do skincare, but if I do use my hands, I make sure to have gloves just for sanitary reasons. Either way, whether I use gloves or a brush, I make sure to really take my time to buff it into any area that I'm applying it to. Then I'm taking the KOSAS eye cream again on a brush and just applying it all over the under eye area. And I'll kind of bring it down to the cheeks as well because eye cream basically is the same thing as moisturizer. Some of them do have, you know, anti-aging qualities, things like that. I do have the Clarins Total Eye Lift eye cream in my kit. I'll kind of switch between the two, that one and the KOSAS one, but I find the KOSAS one is better for more dehydrated under eyes. I love these eye patches from SKYN ICELAND. They are so nice and cooling under the eyes, so these are great for those who didn't get a lot of sleep, maybe they're hungover, whatever it is, it does help to depuff the under eye area. Then I'm taking the DANESSA MYRICKS Contour Balm in the shade Light 1 and applying it all over the lids. Now I did use the Inglot eyeshadow keeper under this, I forgot to show it, but I'm just putting a sweep of color over the eyes. I didn't want the eyes to look too done up, so I still wanted them to have a little bit of dimension. Then I'm using the MERCIER CANDLEGLOW powder in the shade 1, working that all over the lids to set that balm. I didn't want the lids to be too matte, but I also didn't want them to be super shimmery and glittery, and I think this powder is a great happy medium to where it's not too matte, but it's also not too shimmery. It gives a beautiful skin-like finish. Then I'm going to line the lash line very thin with the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette with that very dark brown shade. Notice how I'm not using my entire hand to lift the eye. I only use my pinky. I find it weird when people like put their entire hand on people's head. I feel like that's a little weird. Plus that messes up their hair. But yeah, just taking your finger or your pinky, whatever it is, very lightly to lift up that eye to expose that lash line is going to be a lot more comfortable for the client. I'm using a waterproof mascara on a disposable spoolie. Y'all know how I feel about sanitation. Disposables are imperative to making sure that you are being as sanitary as possible as a makeup artist. Never use the same mascara wand on multiple people. The lashes that I'm using are the Kiss My Lashes But Better line in the style No Filter. If you are someone who's wanting to start off in lashes and you want something super natural, very easy to work with, and that's affordable, the Kiss My Lashes But Better line and the Ardell Soft Touch. The Ardell Soft Touch line is also a really good option, but these ones from Kiss, the No Filter ones, are very, very minimal. People will ask you if they're your real eyelashes. Honestly, they're very minimal, but they add just a little bit of oomph. It doesn't matter how dramatic or how natural the eye makeup is, I make sure that that lash band is undetectable. I don't like feeling guilty when photographers have to edit it to make it look like there's no glue or anything like that. So I'm just taking my brown eyeshadow I used earlier and applying it onto that lash band to further camouflage it and make them look like they're her real eyelashes. After removing her eye patches, I'm taking the KOSAS Revealer Concealer on a Real Techniques setting brush and just buffing it into any areas of discoloration and redness. My sister takes really good care of her skin and knows her skin, so she doesn't have any problem areas or any sort of places that need a little bit more coverage, but she also has these really pretty freckles that I am absolutely jealous of. I used to have freckles like hers, but they've gone away as I've gotten older, which is really upsetting, and I live vicariously through people who have freckles. I love freckles. Now, even though this is a very natural and no makeup light coverage application, I still want to go in with light layers because I don't want to cake on the product, especially since she has drier skin. I don't want a ton of product to emphasize any dry areas. But that's also why I love the KOSAS concealer. It has skincare properties in it, so if you do have dry or dehydrated skin, I definitely recommend checking out the KOSAS concealer. Then I'm taking that same concealer on a smaller brush and focusing on her under eyes. Now here's the thing with under eyes. I get this question a lot, and I will be the first to tell you, creasing, it's normal. It's going to happen. If you have any sort of fine lines under your eyes, creasing will happen. Now there are ways that you can prevent creasing from happening as much. Make sure you are using an eye cream or even just bring your facial moisturizer up onto your under eyes. That is the most dehydrated area on our eyes, so we want to hydrate that area. You also want to use other hydrating products as well. You don't want to use anything too matte unless you're born lucky with not dehydrated under eyes. And then you want to work in layers. Like I mentioned before, layers is key. You don't want to pile on an entire tube of concealer hoping that it's going to take away any fine lines, because it won't. And with whatever leftover concealer I have, I'm just doing more detail work and focusing really around the bridge of the nose and applying it on the brown bone as well, because again, I want this to be cohesive, but I don't want any discoloration to be shown as well. If you watch my videos, you know how much I talk about cohesiveness. It is key to creating a really solid makeup look. I'm taking that same DANESSA MYRICKS contour balm that I use on the eyes on the cheeks. Now, it is labeled as a contour balm, but the shade I'm using, Light 1, does lean a little bit more on the neutral warm side, so that's why I feel comfortable using it as a bronzer. I'm just placing it in the areas where our face would naturally get warm from the sun. So our cheeks, our temples. I also place it on the forehead, and I do like to go along the jawline and the perimeter of the face as well to bring a little bit of dimension to the face. Then I'm using that same Laura Mercier powder I used on the eyes and setting the face as well. Again, I love this powder. If you are in the market for a powder that gives a beautiful skin-like finish, it's not going to make your face look greasy, oily, shiny, glittery, anything like that, I think you would really like this powder. Now I'm taking the Laura Mercier blush in Chai and kind of setting that balm down. Both of us naturally have redness in our cheeks, so I didn't want to add too much blush. So I think just setting the balm with that powder gives, again, that warmth and that rosiness to our cheeks without being too overpowering with both bronzer and blush. And I applied a little bit too much on that one side, so I do take a clean foundation brush just to buff out any rough edges and to bring down that pigment a little bit. If you are looking for a hydrating, glowy face mist that kind of just brings the makeup together, the Pixie Glow Mist is the way to go. It's a finishing spray, so it really is going to marry everything together, and you're going to see me take the sponge not only to set it in, but go around the perimeter of the makeup where it meets the skin and the foundation to kind of make it a little bit more seamless and more natural looking. Now, I forgot to show the product, but I'm using the SENNA Cosmetics Brow Palette. I love these brow powders. I like them more than the Anastasia ones, but that's just my personal opinion. But I keep going into the product because I don't like to take too much of the product onto my brush, especially when it comes to a natural brow. I want the brow to go with the makeup and not be too overpowering. But also I just want to make sure that there's no patchiness, no area has more pigment than another. Then I'm taking a flat concealer brush with a little bit of that KOSAS concealer and just cleaning up any areas that I went outside the lines. I'm a lefty. It's common for me to go outside the lines, but it's an easy fix with a little bit of concealer. After I apply the powder, I always like to go in with a clean spoolie and really take my time to run it through the brows to further disperse the product in evenly throughout the brow. Again, I don't want there to be any patchiness or any areas where there's more pigment than others, especially again when it comes to a more natural brow. Then I'm taking the clear brow gel from SENNA Cosmetics and running that through the brows with a mini spoolie. I love these mini spoolies. Side note, if you have difficulties doing lower lash mascara, I think mini spoolies will be a really beneficial tool for you. And I'm just taking the brow gel and running it through the brows and making the brow hairs stand up and not be flat, but I'm also not making her brows look super fluffy at the same time. My favorite way to create a lip color for people who don't like to wear lipstick and want something very natural is taking a liquid lipstick similar to the color of their natural lips and mixing it with a lip balm. So I took the Maybelline SUPERSTAY Ink in 65 Seductress and mixed it with the Laneige lip mask. Also, you'll notice when I'm working on one side of the face and I go to work on the other side, I move in front of that area that I'm working on, and I think that's really important to do, not just to see exactly what the makeup looks like from that side, but contorting your body and just staying in one place can really hurt your back and just your body in general in the long run. Then I'm topping it off with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray, and then going in again with that Pixie Glow Mist. I mean, look at the way it makes the skin look. I love it. But yeah, not only does my sister have great skin and pretty freckles, but she also has like the perfect natural curly hair. But anyways, that is the finished look. Let me know down in the comments again what kind of looks you guys would like to see me execute on models. Thanks guys for watching.